It is now almost 2 months that the people of this great nation, and that includes Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, I'm looking at you. It is now almost 2 months that the people of this great nation have had to withstand restrictions being put upon them, the likes of which we have never seen or required before in peace or war. You have, for the most part, apart from the occasional millionaire footballer arranging a menage a trois, followed the guidelines, and that is to your credit. You have put up with these restrictions because you understand that we had to make a stand, and that as things stand, we understand it's so easy to control you. We're going to see if we can do it without even trying. Because it is thanks to you that we have managed so far to get through this biggest threat this country has faced in my lifetime. And though the death toll has been tragic, you can be assured that it was not our fault. It was China's. The Motorola salesman who runs Porton Down was absolutely categorical about it when I spoke to him. It is a fact that as a result of the measures we brought in, and which you followed like lemmings off a cliff, this country has managed to survive a catastrophe which experts agree would have killed you all dead. So you can thank this government for that. At least that's the line Cummings has told us we'll all be taking in any questioning of our handling of this crisis going forward. But it is thanks to us that the R figure is finally coming down. The death rate is finally coming down. Hospital admissions are coming down. The stock market is coming down. The economy is coming down, and so on and so forth. And thanks to you, we have managed to protect our NHS well enough that we can hopefully still sell it off to the global mafia in my home country, the United States of America, after my good friend Donald Trump wins re-election in November with his slogan, "Make Asia Pay Again." I've seen it, it's wonderful. And so I know, you know, everybody knows, I go psycho when my new joint hit. Just can't sit to throw away any chance of selling off our nation's greatest achievement in the last century because we allowed a second spike in the virus would be utter madness. And they'd probably infect me with another dose of COVID if that happened. Now, I know that many of you are fearful of this terrible disease, and why wouldn't you be? I mean, look at me. I got it and I look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. And while you are fearful, you are also wondering about your future, and you have hope, but many questions as well. Questions such as, when can my grandchildren hug me again? And does anybody know a mobile hairdresser that accepts cash? And how long before Nando's at least opens for deliveries? So I want to tonight provide a clear message to give a sense of the way ahead and on the guidelines going forward, to provide the general idea for a rough sketch to a blueprint that might then form the basis of a conditional plan as to exactly when, how, and on what basis the pubs can hopefully again reopen in July. And here it is. I'm sure that, it doesn't get any clearer than that. Good job. Good job, guys. Well done. Now, with regards to this next phase, and to keep people as pliant and as docile as possible, we're going to be implementing a kind of DEFCON warning style system, which will scare you into compliance and obedience. And we call this the COVID alert level, which will primarily be determined by R, rate of infection, plus X, number of rights we're taking away. Then, in turn, this will then tell you just how fast you need to bend over and grab your ankles in anticipation of what will be the greatest British rogering of all of our lifetimes. Now, we obviously need to get back to work again and get the country back to the purring Spitfire it was last year under this Tory government. But we can't run away from this problem like I did when Emily Thornberry tried to ambush me with that question on the Great March of Interment in the House of Commons. No, we have to transition to this next phase and be both brave and fearful, both vigilant and complacent too. And whilst we're being both intelligent, we need to also be negligent, overconfident and belligerent, both simultaneously and at the same time. And that is why we urge you back to work and hope that you will transition to working from home if you can. So we urge you to work from home if you can, but if you can't, then just go back to work anyway. Unless you can't, because it's still closed, or you don't want to, or you've been fired, or you don't want to because you have an underlying health condition, or maybe anybody you love does. In that case, don't go to work, stay at home if you can, and if you can't do that, stay alert. But if you can go to work, obviously do so, but try and do so from home. And if you can't, then go by bicycle or go by car. And if you don't have one of those, don't go on those, but don't go on public transport either. Unless you absolutely have to, in which case, then it's perfectly okay. But stay alert. And, well, we can't be any clearer than that. And thank you. God save the Queen. Okay? Wonderful. It was so much easier when I just had to say, get Brexit done a million times in an hour, you know. Right. Off to the bar we go. See you, boys. Good night.